Hello there, guys. Welcome back to Younes Talks Football. I hope all of you are doing well as we dive into an absolute flipping chaotic 24 hours. Chaotic, absolutely insane. And why? Because not just what's happening at Chelsea, but what we've also seen happen elsewhere. Carnage. Absolute carnage. We're going to get into all of it. But we're going to start off at Chelsea. And I'm afraid we've got some bad news. Let's dive right in. Let me show you what the hell is going on. Enjoy. So, yesterday, this had come out that Liam Delap, who has scored 2 goals in 17 games for Chelsea, is set for another spell on the sidelines after injuring his shoulder. It is unclear whether or not Emmanuel Omega's arrival would be allowed to be pushed forward or not. That's something we need to take into consideration now. But we have, as of today, how long he's out for. Enjoy. Liam Delap set to be out for 6 to 8 weeks. That looks like a dislocated shoulder, fully. It looks like if it's not just that and maybe shoulder damage on top of that, I don't know, maybe he's pulled a ligament, maybe he's done something, but I have to be honest, yeah. What Liam Delap was doing in that game yesterday, I've lost count of days, I'll be honest, yeah, because this has gone left. But yeah, yesterday, we played yesterday. Was unnecessary. So unnecessary, right? We like our players to be physical and whatnot, yeah? But to have Liam Delap in that game, going up against Senesi, and they were going at each other's throats, right? But Senesi got under his skin. You can tell he got under his skin instantly. And you see that the way that this shoulder issue arose, how did it happen? It wasn't even for the ball. These two were just going at it in the box after having already been warned, right? After we saw Delap decide to give him a little clap in the face. And you'd think after the red card, right, that he got, and we were all fuming with Delap, that he would have learned. You'd think. Now, I've said this. I don't know if he's scared of wanting to put himself out physically, but out of fear of getting sent off again or doing something stupid. Well, I got to be honest. He was pushing the envelope yesterday. Pushing it proper, right? But unnecessarily. And this is where I think with Liam Delap, I actually think there's a lack of maturity here. Just pure lack of maturity here. Because he's doing what he should be doing unnecessarily. There's no need to do it in that scenario. You want to, ruffle the feathers of your defender? All right, cool. But do it in its moment. Do it when there's something to fight for. You're both going for the ball. You want to let him know you're there. Yeah, let him know you're there. There's no problem with that. But to give him a little clap in the face, and then all of a sudden, when the ball's not even anywhere near you, and you're deciding to happily, he's trying to get under your skin, he's trying to get in your head, and he flipping succeeded. They were going at each other, they fell over together because they were constant. I don't know, it looked like they wanted to get married, I'll be honest. Him and Senesi, I don't know, they just couldn't let go of each other, right? They fall to the ground, oh, whoop-de-doo. They land on Liam's shoulder. And then he dislocates it or something, and now he's out for 8 weeks. Well done. Stupid, unnecessary. If you was just disciplined to know that you have not got to engage with the defender if the ball isn't there, you got no business engaging with him. He's trying to get you under his skin. Now I didn't get into all this yesterday because yesterday we had bigger fish to fry, respectfully. Yeah, we had the whole team being just brain dead. Everyone just stopping that we had to discuss, right? With some of the intricacies, some of the things, the little details that happened in that game, like this one, I didn't go over. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm looking at Liam Delap and blaming him for that. Yeah, you're out for 8 weeks. That's your fault. You did that. You want to be aggressive with your defender? Yeah, be aggressive with the defender when there's something to fight for. You're going for the ball. You're trying to get around him. All of that madness. Yeah, let him know you're there 100%. But when the ball is on the other side of the flipping pitch and he's trying to Just tell him to get off you and leave him. Leave him. Run off him. Don't engage. He engaged. Delap engaged. Delap was like, oh yeah, you want to grab me up? I'll grab you up double. Yeah. Yeah. And then you want to grab me up triple? I'll grab you up quadruple, mate. Yeah. Let's have it. Let's go at it. Yeah. Forget the ref. I don't care. Let's have a nice old fashioned punch up here then. Yeah. Let's have a straightener. Let's just have a full on straightener right here. Yeah. That's the attitude that I get from Liam Delap, and that's wrong. That is completely wrong. That's emotional uncontrol, not emotional control. Emotional lack of control. Emotional damage. Respectfully, that is emotional damage, not control. Damage. And now he's out for 8 weeks. What we got to do? Now what do we do? João Pedro has got double duty now. Mark Gu, you have to step up to the plate now, respectfully. And come January, yeah, well, we've got to see what we're going to do. We've got to see what we're going to do. Omega, well, we've got to do something. Something's got to give. So, I mean, we'll wait and see. But it was so unnecessary and this was so avoidable that it winds me up. And he's not helping himself at all. Delap not helping himself at all. Now, that's that. Now, I also want to mention there's a big opportunity for Mark Gu, but I know there's going to be big revisionism on Nicholas Jackson here, right? And as far as I can say right now, Delap is failing. 100%. Jackson isn't, and whether you even want him to be, can't be the solution. People want to try and do this so easily. Something that didn't work before and something that isn't working now, we're going to go back to the thing that didn't work before because this one isn't working now. So just because that's what we know. Like, no, that's not how it works. Why are we limiting ourselves to this sort of thing? And let me tell you why I said we can't do it. He's on loan and we can't recall him. He's on loan to the end of the season. That's an agreement. We can't just end that. Much like right now, I'm not sure if we can actually get Omega in January. I don't even know if that's a possibility. So we've actually got a little bit of a problem here. We've got a little bit of a problem. You know, there's an entire argument to be had as to whether Delap, yes, is he really cut for it? Is he good enough? We can have that debate all day long, 100%. Because I can understand that people that would look at Delap and go, nah, he's a flop. I get it. I will get it, 100%. I think it's always best, though, to give the opportunity. Much like people were willing to be patient for 2 whole years with Nicholas Jackson, but they're not willing to go any further with Delap, I don't think that's right. This is where I have to be fair. Because I was on Nicholas Jackson going, okay, I want you to do this game. I want you to do this game. I hope you score this game. You don't need to score today. You better score today. I've done all that for a good year and then a half, right? To the point where I was like, okay, nah, I'm done. And a couple of months and people have written off Delap already. The same ones that gave that long to Jackson. I don't think that's correct. I don't think that's correct. But I will happily understand the people that do say just in its isolation, now, you know what? I'm not convinced by Delap. I can understand that fully. And right now, he is not playing well at all. At all. This is not the start. And you know what? He's not helping himself. That's the problem here. Mate, you are causing this for yourself. The red card was him. The first injury wasn't him, of course. He just got injured. But you come back and now you do something unnecessary and good luck. It's cost you 8 weeks. It's not good enough. It's not good enough, man. It's not good enough. He's got to get his head screwed on. But at the same time, I got to be honest. Now, I got to turn to Maresca here again. Mate, there has to be a hold of the discipline in the squad. Too many times we've seen red cards and all of this and this madness. But with a player like Delap, where we've already seen a little bit of history already, Maresca needs to be on his case. No more playing games. Now it's cost him 8 weeks. There needs to be a level of maturity and a level of understanding and control. That comes from the manager here, I have to be honest. That comes from Maresca. So, let's wait and see. But Chelsea are in a bit of a pickle now. We're okay for now with Pedro and Gu, cool, but that is cutting it fine, let's be honest. That is cutting it real fine. Who else can play up front? Anyway. Luckily, we've not got anyone going to AFCON, right? I say luckily. I liked when we had African players, I'll be honest. But, do you know what I mean? But, and even if Nico was here, he'd be going to AFCON anyway. But, you get the gist. We're limited. So, let's wait and see. What do you think we should do? Let me know down below. Now, Mo Salah. Now, we're going to go into more detail on this on Shootout. So make sure you're catching the videos that are going to drop from tomorrow onwards on Shootout, because we definitely are going to cover Mo Salah and this outburst. But we do have some updates. Now, for those that don't know and have been living in a cave, I'm going to go over this very briefly. Mo Salah kicked off yesterday, fully. Liverpool drew 3-3 with Leeds. They were winning 2-0. They let it all go to 2-2, and then they did score the third, and then they did concede, and Leeds managed to get themselves a draw. Finished 3-3, respect to Leeds. Leeds, who got 3 points against Chelsea and a point against Liverpool, can come out of those 2 games and say we didn't lose, is mad, yeah? When Farke had his job on the line. So, respect to Leeds. But, Mo Salah, after the game, because he was benched, right, didn't start, for the 3rd game in a row, came out with an outburst. And let me show you some of the quotes. This isn't all of it. It was a 3-4 minute flipping just outburst from Mo Salah in the press zone, not even in the interview space, just the press zone. There was journalists with microphones just surrounding him and the press officer next to him, and he decided to speak. Well, he said, "It's not acceptable for me. I don't know why this is happening for me. I don't get it. I have done so much for this club. I don't have to go every day fighting for my position because I earned it. I'm not bigger than anyone," he said. He also went on to say, "I had a good relationship with the manager. All of a sudden, we don't have any relationship. I don't know why it seems to me that someone doesn't want me in the club." There is the whole full interview here, basically, where you can see this is where the interview was done, pretty much. And it's just pure carnage. Pure carnage. 3.5 minutes or so of just an outburst. And like you've heard, someone doesn't want me at the club. He mentions that the relationship with Slot was there. All of a sudden, it just disappeared. He said that I've given everything to this club, everything that I've done. I'm not in a position where I need to constantly earn the place. But he did say I'm not bigger than everyone. It's not saying that, but I've done more than enough to be the man here. And all of a sudden, I'm on the bench for 3 games with no explanation. He went on to say that I was given promises and Liverpool haven't kept those promises. And as soon as he said someone at the club doesn't want me here, the press officer next to him just went, "Oh, no. Got his phone out and just started texting someone, I don't know, but he was just messaging clearly straight to WhatsApp. But he is now on top of that saying, and he said it in this interview, he just come out and said, Brighton, I want my parents there at the game against Brighton because I'm going to be going to the AFCON afterwards. I don't know what's going to happen whilst I'm there. It could be my last game. It'll be a chance to say goodbye to the fans. He has just come out all guns blazing going, "Listen, lads, I'm off." Unflipping believable. Now, what does this mean? This means that I think it's clear. Well, it's either Arne Slot or Mo Salah. Liverpool have to pick. Now, he did say, like I mentioned, that Arne Slot, the relationship was there, and then all of a sudden it disappeared. And then someone at the club doesn't want me here. Who is this someone? He makes it seem like it's not Slot. It's come from above Slot. But Slot is going along. Now, I just want to take a pause. Do you now understand why Liverpool have been just completely out of sorts? Because there were things happening behind the scenes. This is my point. When you see a team completely switch off, just out of nothing, more times than not, except Chelsea. Yeah, because Chelsea's a different story here. But more times than not, something has happened. Behind the scenes, things have gone down. And obviously, we don't hear about it until later. But best believe, if it's off in football, more times than not, there's no smoke without fire. If you see smoke, you best believe there's fire. You best believe. It's not a false alarm. It's not a vape. Yeah, it's a fire. So that's something to take into consideration for all of you in terms of future and knowing when a football team of such magnitude all of a sudden just looks off. Something's gone down behind the scenes and now we're getting it, yeah? Big things are kicking off. Big things. This is the straw that broke the camel's back. Well, Liverpool have to choose. Are you picking Slot or are you picking Salah? Well, according to some sources today, decision might have been made. Arne Slot has the full backing of the board over Mo Salah's outburst. There is a major doubt that Salah will travel with the rest of his teammates for Tuesday's Champions League clash at Inter Milan or play in next weekend's Premier League game at home to Brighton, says Alex Crook. And we also have Arne Slot retains the backing of Liverpool's board following Mohamed Salah's interview on Saturday where he spoke of a broken relationship with the Liverpool boss. Liverpool will now discuss whether Salah features again before AFCON. That is wild. That is actually wild. And I've got a theory that I want to bring up. I've got a theory. It's funny because I spoke with my dad about this and this was predominantly his idea and we dipped into a little bit and I was like, you know what, you might have a point. I'm going to raise this on the video and see what people think. Could this be Liverpool's way of trying to relieve themselves of the deal that they accepted for Salah, the contract deal that they gave him just recently? That new deal they gave him where he's on 400 and odd thousand pounds a week. Are they looking back at that after having spent 500 million, after having bought Wirtz, after having bought Isak, after having done all that business, Kirkez and more, right? And looking and going, oh my God, we might have absolutely fumbled this. We can't get rid of those players, but the one player we can get rid of ASAP for big money is actually Mo Salah. And that's going to be the way that we somehow rebalance the books and maybe rectify our mistake a little bit. Is that it? Because when Salah says someone at the club doesn't want me here, all of a sudden, it feels strange. And Salah just all of a sudden, and don't get me wrong, Salah's been stinking up the gaff. Yeah, he's not been playing well at all. But neither has anyone, except Ekitike. I have to say, Ekitike has been the only Liverpool man that I think has been normal. Everyone else has looked off. Everyone. And it looks like it's split. There's some players there that are happy to play for Slot and the majority are not bothered. They just don't care, right? I think Van Dijk and everyone else included, I think. But I wouldn't be shocked. I think it's a legitimate, possible, plausible theory that Liverpool are in panic stations over having spent what they spent. They're probably unsure that it's going to work. They're going, well, we got to try and make something back. And you know what? The guy that's going to bring in the most right now and the only guy that we can get rid of right now for big money isn't Wirtz, isn't Isak, isn't the players we brought in. It's Mo Salah, who is the highest paid player in the Liverpool team right now as well. And he's of age. He's 32, 33. That's it. There's not much left. We can cash in. Stop playing him. Force the move for January. Maybe. Because apparently Saudi are still interested. And maybe they're the only ones that can afford him. I wouldn't be shocked if that is the situation going on here. And Salah just feels hard done by, which technically in that scenario he should, because it wasn't him who bought Wirtz, and it wasn't him who bought Isak, and it wasn't him that spent that much in one summer. And all of a sudden just doesn't look like it's working. When in reality, I've got to be honest, I wouldn't think of selling Salah. I'd look at changing the manager if I'm being real, right? Because Slot looks like he just cannot manage these players, right? With his own system and his way, forget Klopp's way, trying to do it his way, looks like it just can't work. But then again, Salah, in this situation, very, very bold of him to come out and say what he said. Should he have said what he said in that manner? There is a debate. Is it unprofessional? I get where he's coming from. At the same time, it's not the most ideal, but if there's no communication going on in the club and this is his only way out, I don't know. You'd think there's other ways to deal with it and you just put your head down and stay professional, ideally. But this has really, really, really just caused complete chaos. And I think this is also why. Well, let's look at this. This is why, you know what Liverpool have done, I think, have set an absolute precedent for what clubs are going to do moving forward. This is an inkling to that, which has been done before. But let me show you. Marco Correa only signed improved terms at Chelsea during the summer. The length of the contract is the same. He received an increase of salary. And that's deserved. 100% deserved. But Cucurella, now the length of contract is one thing. His contract ends in 2028. He should be getting a new deal. But put that aside. The increase in salary. You're playing well. You're a key player. You're smashing it. You deserve an increase in salary. Let's renegotiate. Let's readjust the terms. Happened to Cole Palmer. Happened to Caicedo. It's happened to Cucurella. Has it happened to Reece James? I'm not mistaken. But players that are playing and balling are getting increase in salaries at Chelsea, but they're starting off low or lower than expected. You best believe other clubs are going to have to follow suit. Well, after what they've seen Liverpool do, they're probably going, bloody hell, we don't want to do that. So expect similar business to be done by other clubs now. Lower salaries, talent, young, let's see, maybe the odd player here and there, but nothing like Liverpool have done, spending 500 million in one window. No way. You won't see that again, I don't think. I think Liverpool, because they've done it wrong, have just probably scared everyone from doing the same thing. And especially with FFP and all of these new financial rules that are coming in, that's probably the last bit of big business we're going to see from anybody in the Premier League. Anybody. Yeah, Real Madrid or Barca might attempt one big signing, maybe because they can afford one. But the Premier League rules are just so much more constrained than anywhere else that I just don't think we're going to see it anymore. So let me know your thoughts down below. But what happens to Mo Salah? Well, like I said, me and George are going to go into some more detail on Shootout. So make sure you're catching the content there. Make sure you're subbed over there as well as here. Over there, we've got the Premier League Roundup tomorrow. And we've got Champions League predictions as well dropping on Tuesday morning. So make sure you guys are there for that. And then we've got Atalanta. So the match preview for that, we're playing on Tuesday, right? Yeah. So Atalanta preview tomorrow. So make sure you're here for that as well. Much appreciated. Subscribe, notification bell on. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Have a good one. Look after yourselves. Take care, and peace.